Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk about something that I think represents a major shift in the film industry. In 2025, while Hollywood was banking on familiar superhero franchises, a Japanese anime film quietly became one of the year's biggest success stories. Demon Slayer. Infinity Castle didn't just perform well, it fundamentally changed how we think about what audiences want from blockbuster entertainment. So let's break down exactly why this happened and what it means for the future of cinema. Let's start with the box office performance because the numbers are pretty revealing. Demon Slayer, Infinity Castle earned $560 million worldwide. Now that might seem modest compared to some superhero films, but context is everything. Superman, one of the most recognizable characters in the world, made $615 million globally. The Fantastic Four, First Steps, backed by Disney's massive marketing machine, earned $520 million but reportedly lost over $70 million due to its enormous budget. Meanwhile, Demon Slayer achieved its success with a significantly smaller budget and marketing spend. But here's what's really interesting. The international breakdown. While Superman earned 57.6% of its revenue domestically, Demon Slayer earned 80.4% of its money from international markets. This wasn't just a Japanese phenomenon, it was a global one. The film topped the US box office for 2 consecutive weekends and became the highest-grossing anime film of all time, breaking a record held by Pokémon, the first movie for over 2 decades. What we're seeing here is a fundamental shift in audience preferences, particularly among younger viewers. The success starts with the story itself. The Infinity Castle arc represents the culmination of everything Demon Slayer has been building toward. This is the final confrontation between the Demon Slayer core and Muzan Kibutsuji, the series' primary antagonist, along with his most powerful demons. What sets this apart from typical blockbuster storytelling is how it handles stakes and consequences. Every character's life is genuinely in danger. The story doesn't pull its punches. Characters we care about face real peril, and the outcomes aren't predetermined by franchise requirements. The narrative structure is also more sophisticated than what we typically see in superhero films. Rather than following a simple 3-act structure, the story weaves together multiple character arcs, each with their own emotional payoffs. We get deep exploration of the Hashira, the elite demon slayers, learning about their motivations, their losses, and what drives them to fight. Compare this to recent Marvel and DC offerings, where character development often takes a backseat to spectacle, and emotional moments feel manufactured rather than earned. Demon Slayer takes the time to build genuine emotional investment before asking audiences to care about the action. This brings us to the characters themselves. One of the most striking differences between Demon Slayer and its Hollywood competition is how it treats character growth. Take Tanjiro, the protagonist. Throughout the series, his defining trait has been his compassion, even for demons. In Infinity Castle, this compassion is tested in ways that force genuine character evolution. He's faced with situations where his usual approach might not be enough, creating internal conflict that drives the external action. The supporting cast gets similar treatment. Zenitsu, who has struggled with cowardice throughout the series, faces a confrontation with his former senior disciple who has become a demon. This isn't just a fight scene, it's the resolution of his entire character arc. Inosuke's journey from wild beast to loyal friend reaches its culmination as he learns to fight not just for himself, but for others. Even the villains are given depth. The upper-rank demons aren't just obstacles to overcome, they're tragic figures with their own histories and motivations. This creates fights that are emotionally complex rather than simple good versus evil confrontations. When I look at Fantastic Four or Superman, I struggle to identify similar character growth. These films often feel like they're going through the motions of character development without actually committing to meaningful change. Of course, we have to talk about the animation. Studio Ufotable has developed a distinctive style that seamlessly blends traditional 2D animation with 3D computer graphics. The result is visually stunning in a way that most live-action films struggle to match. The key to Ufotable's success is their understanding that technology should serve the story, not dominate it. Their 3D elements are so well integrated that they enhance rather than distract from the hand-drawn animation. The camera movements are dynamic and cinematic, but they're always motivated by the story being told. The visual representation of the breathing techniques, the elemental effects that accompany each fighting style, creates a unique visual language. Water breathing creates flowing liquid movements. Fire breathing generates intense heat and light. Thunder breathing produces sharp electric strikes. Each technique has its own visual identity, making the fights easy to follow despite their complexity. This attention to visual storytelling creates a more immersive experience than the often generic CGI spectacle we see in many Hollywood blockbusters. The action sequences in Infinity Castle demonstrate something that's been missing from many recent blockbusters: fights that serve the story rather than existing for their own sake. Each major battle in the film has emotional stakes that go beyond simple victory or defeat. When Shinobu faces upper-rank Tudoma, it's not just about her fighting skills. It's about her quest for revenge and her willingness to sacrifice everything for it. When Zenitsu confronts Kaigaku, it's about confronting his past and proving his growth as both a fighter and a person. The choreography itself is intricate and strategic. Characters use their unique abilities in creative ways, adapt to their opponent's strengths, and work together when necessary. The fights feel like actual combat rather than choreographed dance numbers. This is a stark contrast to many superhero films, where fights often feel weightless and consequence-free. How many times have we seen a city destroyed with no real sense of loss or impact? Demon Slayer understands that action without emotional investment is just noise. I had the opportunity to see Infinity Castle in 4DX, and it genuinely enhanced the experience in ways I didn't expect. For those unfamiliar, 4DX theaters have motion seats and environmental effects like wind, water, and scents that sync with the action on screen. The technology worked particularly well with anime because the exaggerated movements and elemental effects translate naturally to physical sensations. Feeling the motion of sword strikes, the rush of wind during breathing techniques, and the rumble of the castle shifting around you created an immersive experience that elevated the already excellent film. It made me realize how much potential there is for anime in premium theater formats. The stylized nature of animation actually works better with these technologies than many live-action films. It was easily a 10 out of 10 experience that I'd recommend to anyone who gets the chance. The success of Demon Slayer represents something larger than just one film's performance. According to a 2024 poll, 42% of Gen Z watches anime weekly. This isn't a niche interest anymore, it's mainstream entertainment for an entire generation. This audience is more globally connected and culturally aware than previous generations. They're seeking out stories that offer different perspectives and aren't limited by Western storytelling conventions. They want authenticity over familiarity, and they're willing to read subtitles or watch dubbed content to get it. Hollywood has been slow to recognize this shift. The industry continues to rely on established franchises and familiar formulas, often resulting in films that feel safe but uninspired. Meanwhile, international content, whether it's anime, Korean films, or other non-Western media, is finding massive global audiences by offering fresh perspectives and genuine creativity. The success of Demon Slayer: Infinity Castle isn't an anomaly, it's a preview of what's coming. Audiences are becoming more sophisticated and more international in their tastes. They're looking for stories that challenge them emotionally and visually, not just familiar characters in familiar situations. This doesn't mean superhero films are dead, but it does mean they need to evolve. The era of guaranteed success based on brand recognition alone is ending. Films need to earn their audience through quality storytelling, compelling characters, and genuine creativity. For anime specifically, this success opens doors for more theatrical releases and bigger budgets. We're likely to see more anime films getting wide releases and premium theater experiences. The medium is no longer seen as niche. It's recognized as a legitimate form of blockbuster entertainment. Let's dive deeper into what makes Ufotable's animation so special, because understanding the technical aspects helps explain why this film resonated so strongly with audiences worldwide. Ufotable has spent years perfecting their hybrid animation technique. They don't just add 3D elements to 2D animation, they create a unified visual language where both techniques serve the same artistic vision. Their use of particle effects, lighting, and camera movement creates a cinematic experience that rivals any live-action blockbuster. The studio's approach to color and composition is particularly noteworthy. Each scene is carefully designed to guide the viewer's eye and enhance the emotional impact of the story. The warm oranges and reds of fire-breathing techniques contrast with the cool blues and whites of water-breathing, creating visual metaphors that reinforce the characters' personalities and fighting styles. This level of artistic sophistication is something that many Hollywood productions have moved away from in favor of generic, committee-designed visuals. When every superhero film looks essentially the same, audiences notice and appreciate something that has a distinct visual identity. From a business perspective, Demon Slayer's success model is particularly interesting. The film was produced for a fraction of what Hollywood spends on comparable blockbusters. While exact budget figures aren't public, anime films typically cost between $10, $30 million to produce, compared to the $200+ million budgets common for superhero films. This efficiency comes from several factors. Animation studios can create spectacular visuals without the massive costs associated with live-action filming. No location fees, no elaborate practical sets, no expensive star salaries. The trade-off is that animation requires enormous amounts of skilled labor and time, but the financial model is fundamentally different. The international appeal of anime also creates a more diverse revenue stream. While Hollywood films often rely heavily on domestic box office performance, anime films can succeed globally from day one. This reduces risk and creates more sustainable business models for studios. One of the most fascinating aspects of Demon Slayer's success is how it maintains its Japanese cultural identity while appealing to global audiences. The story is deeply rooted in Japanese concepts of honor, duty, and family bonds, but these themes are presented in ways that resonate universally. This is a lesson that Hollywood could learn from. Recent attempts to create globally appealing content often result in films that feel culturally neutral and emotionally hollow. Demon Slayer proves that audiences are drawn to authentic cultural perspectives, even when, or perhaps especially when, those perspectives are different from their own. The film doesn't compromise its cultural identity to appeal to Western audiences. Instead, it trusts that good storytelling and genuine emotion will transcend cultural boundaries. This confidence in the material shows in every frame and contributes to the film's overall impact. The success of Demon Slayer is part of a broader shift in how audiences consume entertainment. Streaming platforms have made international content more accessible than ever before. Younger viewers, in particular, are comfortable with subtitled content and actively seek out diverse perspectives. This has created an environment where quality content can find its audience regardless of its country of origin. Films no longer need to be Americanized to succeed globally. In fact, audiences often prefer content that offers something different from the standard Hollywood formula. This trend extends beyond anime to include Korean films, European cinema, and other international productions that are finding success in markets where they previously had limited access. The gatekeeping power of traditional distributors is diminishing, and audiences are becoming the primary arbiters of what succeeds. The implications of Demon Slayer's success extend far beyond the anime industry. It demonstrates that audiences are ready for more diverse, culturally specific content. It shows that technical innovation in service of storytelling can create experiences that resonate more deeply than expensive but generic spectacle. For the film industry as a whole, this success story suggests that the future belongs to creators who can combine authentic storytelling with technical excellence, regardless of their cultural background or the medium they choose to work in. The most successful films of the coming years will likely be those that offer something genuinely new while maintaining the fundamental elements of good storytelling that have always driven successful entertainment. The box office dominance of Demon Slayer, Infinity Castle, isn't just a victory for anime. It's a signal that the entertainment landscape is evolving, and the creators who understand this shift will be the ones who define the next era of blockbuster filmmaking. Demon Slayer, Infinity Castle succeeded because it delivered what audiences actually want. A compelling story with genuine emotional stakes, complex characters who grow and change, stunning visuals that serve the narrative, and action sequences that matter to the plot. It's a reminder that good storytelling transcends cultural boundaries, and that audiences are hungry for content that respects their intelligence and emotional investment. The film's success isn't just a win for anime, it's a win for creative storytelling in general. What did you think of Demon Slayer Infinity Castle? Did you see it in theaters? And how did it compare to other blockbusters you saw this year? Let me know in the comments below, and thanks for watching.